Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer and welcome back to Farming Simulator 17. Yeah, man, I made a mistake. It happens. And it happened to me. I made a mistake. We're going back to Farming Simulator 17, at least for the foreseeable future. You know, I think in time, 19 might get there, but it ain't there now. And it might not get there. You know, the most hardcore gamers, the people that love Farming Simulator the most, the mod makers, the map makers, they don't like 19. So I don't know if they're going to make mods for it. I really don't. I mean, I'm sure some will. But I don't know if it's ever going to be like this. Speaking of like this, you know, one of my big complaints about 19 is it didn't really make me feel anything. Well, when I look at this, man, that makes me feel something. That makes me feel some kind of a way. And that's the whole reason I like this sim. And it's the whole reason I didn't like 19. So, we are on Coldborough Park Farm. Why? Well, I think this is the first map that ever really hit me. And it was in FS15. I got into FS15 right before 17 dropped. So this was the first mod map that really just blew my mind, you know. I had gotten into base game and then I had seen a couple of, I don't know, I mean, you don't know from mods when you get into a sim. Speaking of mods, how about it, man? How about it? When you first get into a sim, any sim that has mod content, you don't know from mods, you know? I mean, you might understand the concept of mods and how they work, but you don't know, like, what mods you want for that sim. You don't know nothing, man. You got to kind of prowl around a little bit. You got to explore. So I was exploring, and I was finding the dodgy mod sites, you know? And, yeah, I was finding a lot of crap. I didn't know about Mod Hoster. I didn't know about FSUK. I didn't know where the good mods were. So yeah, I found some badly converted maps, or what I realized in hindsight were some badly converted maps, and just looking around, and eventually I came across Coldborough Park. And it was, wow. You know, this is like, look at this, man. This is so immersive. This is so moody. It's so atmospheric. It's exactly what I want my gaming to feel like. So I figured let's cleanse the palate a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to our roots. Let's go back to what worked. And let's go back to Coldborough Park. So I'll get this guy going. Set the brake. I'll get this guy going, and this is field 9. I already have a course laid in. And we're half done. We have to keep refilling. Obviously, we have to keep refilling this tiny, tiny little seeder, and I'll tell you why we have this tiny, tiny little seeder. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna do that. Gotta do that. Gotta do that. Come down here. We do that. And then we can do that. Perfect. Speed is good. Ridge markers are good. Yep. Before we hop out, take a look, man. Yeah, take a look at this field. Take a look at this cedar. Let me tell you what's up. Whoa, almost got ourselves run over. So Coldborough Park Farm, if you're not familiar with it, it's a fantastic farm. It looks like a little British farm, but it's actually massive, and the fields are really, really big. And you start with, see if I can get right up here. Yeah, you start on this sort of hilltop farm, and you start with 2 and 4 and 5 to the north of the farm, and then you start with 7, 8, and 9 to the south. Now, in my experience, all the time that I've spent on this map, single player, that's really all I need, and that's sort of all I can handle, particularly in seasons. So I did what I normally do. I sold everything, but in this case, I did not sheet in my traditional 2 million euro. I just kept what we had, and it came to about 700,000 euro. I just went with that, and I bought old, cheap tractors. So we have that Ford. It says up in Glance, it lists it as an FW25. It's actually an FW35. We also got this little Massey 3090. Love it on duals. We got this Case 1455XL on duals all around in black, naturally. And we got one more on the other side. We got a new Case Optum. The reason I got the Ford, the Massey, and the 1455 is they were really cheap. They were like 25,000 euro a piece. Pretty affordable. This thing was like 350, I think. But, and again, you know, I'm not going to trash talk 19 constantly. We're in 17, we're going to farm, and that's all there is to it. So, in fact, we'll hop in this thing right now. This tractor has unbelievable sound too. I love it. I love it. There we go. We'll get this guy going and I'll tell you a couple other things. So I got those 3 small tractors because they're cheap, and as we bought a few other implements, we started running out of money. I did pay my loan down to 0. I like to do that. I know there's no reason to. You know, it's only, we started in hard mode and prices are pretty low. But, oh, you know what? Maybe, yeah, maybe we'll start from the gate. We'll set up course play here. But I do pay my loan down to 0, so it's all there if we need it, I guess. But what I realize is, and this is field 4. So we're going to go in field 4, right up here. 4, no, 4, right? 2 of those, 1 of those, 1 of those. Make you a course. Where are we at? Right up here. Fantastic. So basically we don't have a lot of money. We don't have any animals yet. We didn't get the sheep or the cows going yet. I don't know if I'll do pigs. I just don't like them, and I don't make any money from them. So put that back in gear. Turn that off. Turn this off. Right here. Right there. There we go. So we did get a little combine harvester. We have the old 1660 mod, and it's got the Ludmilla Sound Power pack in it. It's fantastic. So we've got everything we need right now. We have a little tipper as well. We have everything we need at the moment to put crop in the ground and to harvest it out. We have some tractors. We have a couple cultivators. We have a drill. We have a fertilizer spreader, a combine harvester, and a tipper. So we can harvest canola right now. We're good to go. And that's what we're planting because it's the most expensive crop that we can sell at the moment. But where do we want to go next? And if we do want to get into animals next, right? How would we do that? And they're expensive. Now we do, because we're back in 17, we don't have to buy anything as far as like land or, you know, placing the dairy. We can just start buying cows. But if we do that, we immediately need to start buying bales, because at least for your first season, buying bales is, I've found, really the only kind of logical way to do it. I mean, you spend a lot of money on mowers and rakes and tedders and balers and bale trailers to make hay bales for your cows, and straw bales. And as far as, you know, making silage, power food, if you want to feed them enough to get any decent amount of milk out of them, right? You get what I'm saying. It really does make sense for me, economic sense. It makes for me to buy bales. So if we bought cows, you know, if we bought 20 cows, that's $100,000 right there. That leaves us with $100,000 for everything else. Seed is super expensive. That little Kuhn seed drill that we have on the Ford is just burning through seed. So you see what I'm getting at. You know, it looks like a lot of money, but it's really not. And it's, for me, it's not a question of, well, just borrow a bunch of money and then, you know, make money and pay it back. Well, sure. I mean, that's the goal, but that doesn't always work out that way. So when I did the math on it, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. When I did the math on it, what I came up with was, get some, lock in the hubs here. There we go. And I will tell you all the mods we're running in a second here, and it is hilarious. So, there we go. So basically, small equipment is all I can afford, near term and long term. And the fields are huge. So if we're running small tractors that don't have a lot of power, we can only run small implements that don't require a lot of power, because we're in more realistic and all of our equipment is, let me me slow it down just a little bit here. There we go. Right? You see what I'm saying? All of our tractors are more realistic. All of our implements are more realistic. We can't, there's like no fudging. We can't use an implement that requires 200 horsepower with a 150 horsepower tractor. It just will not move. So we have to go with small implements, even though the fields are big. And that was why I got one more tractor. I went with 4 instead of 3. I hope this is making sense. I haven't had my coffee yet. I hope this is making sense. I think it is. We went with another tractor because it was only another 25,000 euro. And now we have the ability to have 3 workers on plus me. So we can get a lot done with small equipment without spending a ton on big equipment. Save game. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I think that makes perfect sense. So that's where we're at right now. And I think we're going to be in this place till the end of our first season. I think. And then we may have enough money because we should get a ton of canola out of the ground. And we should be able to, I hope, sell that and make enough money that we can begin expanding our dairy. But with seasons, and I know I sound like I go on and on about seasons like it's the greatest thing. I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing, but it changes the game into what I want it to be, which is something that really makes you think long term about economic modeling. And right, I've seen a lot of threads like this. It's kind of like a low grade battle between FS17 fans and FS19 fans. And I've heard a lot of people say about 19, good that it doesn't have seasons. Good. I don't want to mess with seasons. I just want to farm. I don't want to do a lot of other stuff. I just want to farm. I don't want to have to mess with like thinking and planning. I just want to farm. And there's a school of thought that says, you know, farming is work. Like, oh you crybabies, you don't want to work. You want to think. Well, quit thinking and just get out there and work. And it's like, man, okay. I mean, it's just a video game. There's really no right or wrong answer. But for me, like, I really like the planning that is required for seasons. And something else that I like about seasons, and this is what I think makes it both good and bad for videos, good and bad for YouTube, is with seasons, it's like time is never on your side. You know, when you need more time, you don't get it because it's got this sort of inevitability, you know? Like if it's raining, I've had a couple summers where it's raining and it's like, oh man, I need it to stop raining and I need the crops to dry out so I can harvest them. I'm not going to have enough time to cut grass before harvest. And looking at the weather forecast for fall, it's going to rain a lot. Every single minute my crops are dry enough to harvest, I need to be out harvesting them. And instead, I'm not. You know, I'm like caught in this weather pattern. I'm running out of time. But then as soon as you bring the harvest in, as soon as you get your fields prepped for fall, it's like, ugh, why is time going so slow? And I don't know if the mod developers did that intentionally, but it's a very cool thing that you know, time always seems to be your enemy with seasons. I like that. That seems like a kind of a cool touch, if they did it deliberately. If not, it's just a happy accident. But I do like seasons, and I do like the slower pace of the game, and I do like that you're really sort of locked into what you have to do. You know, like right now we're trying to hustle up and get these fields done before the planting window ends. We're trying to do it with small equipment because that's all we can afford. And it's, you know, that's a cool thing for me to try to have to sort that out. And that 200 grand, it looks like a lot of money. It's really not. Once we get this canola sold in the fall, which is quite a ways from now, once we get this canola sold, we'll be fine. But we're going to spend probably another 10 or 15,000 euro on seeds. Those fields just drink seeds. It's crazy. So let me tell you what mods we're running. Well, let me tell you how I got back into FS17 first off. I had deleted it and uninstalled it, or uninstalled it and deleted it. However you want to say it. It was gone. It was gone. My mod folder was gone. Everything was gone. And I gave up on 19, right? Back in 17. So I still own the game. I'm on a serial number copy. It's my last serial number game. Everything else is Steam at this point, except for 17. FS17. So I re-downloaded everything. I've got the Coon Pack, I've got the Ropa Pack, I've got the Straw Harvest by Aerosoft. I got everything re-downloaded, and then it was like, okay, mods. What do we want to do about this? And I sort of remembered off the top of my head, like my core mods, and I'll list those for you right quick. My core mods are seasons, obviously. That's an easy one to find, plus the geo patches for it for different areas. So that was no problem. The for real modules, the 3 for real modules, the camera collision mod, that's a little one. What else? Game extension mod, that's a little one. Trying to think what other like in-game mods. Glance, follow me, right? Just the sort of basic ones. But then, like the ones that really changed the game for me are more realistic, and drive control, and the gearbox add-on, and then courseplay, AI extension, the combine extension, and then from Black Panther, the fuel usage add-on, the handbrake, concentrating, the AdBlue mod, the DEF mod from Black Panther Group, the oil change mod from Black Panther Group, and the HUD compass, right? And that's, when you look down in the lower right, like all the extra crap that's in my HUD, most of that is from Black Panther. And it's just little stuff. It's little stuff, but you add it all up. And I mean, you heard when we were pulling out of the yard in the Ford, is it big old sputtering diesel just kind of finding its way through the gears slowly? Everything is slow. When you get on more realistic and gearbox, everything is slow. It's so nice because tractors are not known for their speed. They're very slow, and that really adds to the experience for me. I know I sound like I'm going on and on. I do love this game. I really do. So, and we're keeping an eye on, in glance out of the corner of our eye, we're keeping our eye on the seed level in our little Coon drill. So yeah, man, I put it all together and I thought, well, why not? You know, because 19 is just not working for me, and I don't know if it ever will be. You know, I saw a documentary on YouTube yesterday about the Medal of Honor franchise, which when I played shooter games, that was my game all the way up to Warfighter. And I feel like for me, Medal of Honor 2K10 was kind of like the high point for me. I feel like that was the one that worked the best for me, probably because the graphics were the newest and best. Subject matter, I prefer Medal of Honor in World War II, but what can you do? But I feel like graphically and as far as gameplay and immersion, that was the high watermark. And then they released Warfighter, and it flopped, and Medal of Honor is like, according to this documentary, the studio that developed Medal of Honor, like, people left that studio and went and started the Call of Duty franchise. So you could say that, well, I mean, I guess Wolfenstein probably started it all way, way, way back, but an argument could be made that the Medal of Honor franchise kind of started the World War II shooter genre. And they lost it, they dropped the ball. And they're really not a player in that space anymore. It's Call of Duty and Battlefield, Modern Warfare, right? It's not. Medal of Honor is a historical footnote. And you think, wow, man, okay. So I guess, when we look forward to games and sims coming out, I guess for me anyway, I don't know if it's this way with you, but for me anyway, there's a part of me that just feels like things will inevitably move forward. A new game is a better game. Graphics will be better. They'll listen to feedback from the players, from the fans. They'll include things. They'll put things in that matter, right? They'll fix things that people don't like or complain about. The new one will always be the better one. And I think, no. Where's Need for Speed? That used to be, where's Ridge Racer? What happened to them? So it's, developers do drop off. They drop off, I think, in their quality. I think they also just drop off, like they drop off the map. And it's like one leads to the other. You have a couple flops, Your revenue starts to drop. You don't have enough money to pay your staff. People leave. They go start another studio, what have you. And then you're not what you used to be. So I'm not saying that's going to happen with 19, but it could. It certainly could, you know. But it is, and I mentioned this in my last 19 video, last FS19 video. This is the first time that I've ever like moved forward in a franchise and then stopped and moved back. And I know I've read about people doing that, and it's like, huh, okay. I don't necessarily disagree, you know. I don't necessarily like find that to be inappropriate behavior. It's just not something that I understood. And this is the first time it's happened to me, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So we need to put her in reverse. Oh, gearbox. I love you. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Great sound on this tractor, too. Great sound on all these tractors. Right, so our big Optim is done. Okay. You know, something else that I noticed. My input binding folder was so cluttered from mods that I had installed and then uninstalled for one reason or another. When I deleted the game, I lost my input binding folder, my input binding file, the input binding XML, gone. And to start from scratch is amazing. I feel like in a lot of ways the game is playing faster. And we're at a rock solid 60 FPS, and everything is on high or ultra, everything's 200%. I've got my anti-aliasing set to 8x, and you know what? Let's see, we're in kind of a race right now because our drill is down to 15% canola. I'm trying to get done with this field before that drill is empty. We may make it, we may not. It's going to be close either way. But I want to show you something when we oh yeah, we're just barely, oh, it's going to be so close. But we'll see how we do. So one of the problems that I had with 19, well, one of the problems, I don't think I had anything but problems with 19. Oh, just sneaking through there. I know, my technique for driving on fields is probably not something that a real farmer would approve of. I know. Hop in here. So, one of the problems that I had with 19 was the jaggies. I felt like I could never get my anti-aliasing. I couldn't get the game to look good. And, I'll accept some responsibility via my graphics card. It's not the greatest. But when I set everything in 19 to, when I max everything out, like, I understand I'm going to kill my frame rate, but I at least want to see what it looks like. And even with everything on Ultra, or everything that can be on Ultra, I still had issues with the jaggies. And I didn't understand that. I still don't. The handbrake. Lights off. Engine off. And check this. No jaggies. There's not a jaggy in sight. Right? And reading a little bit about anti-aliasing and how games, when they're ported, those are all factors. And that if you screw up the port of a game to PC, the anti-aliasing will always be screwy. Like, there's nothing you can do to fix it as the end user, like as the gamer, as the player. That's not, like, you can't fix it. It's just busted. So seeing the way this game plays and there are arguably some changes, some additions. Oh, we're getting a little tiny bit of jaggy in those wires, but I mean, compared to 19, are you kidding me? So moment. Let's hop in here because we need to. Yeah, we're dry, so we're gonna stop you. Lift that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fantastic. So yeah, there were some things about the graphics in 19 that I have to admit did look better. But what you traded away to get them, totally not worth it. So these graphics may not be as state-of-the-art or whatever as 19, but this to me, I find this to be immersive. I feel like this feels like something to me. And 19 just didn't. Save game. 19 just didn't, you know? And I'm not going to go on and on about it. It's let us never speak of it again. But yeah, what an experience, man. Did we hit something? What just happened right there? We didn't hit anything. I hope not. Something's happening. We're loading tiles. Right. Throw her in reverse. And you know what? This is perfect. This is 26 minutes. Let's back up to our seed fill point here, and we'll call this half an hour. This is perfect. This worked out exactly the way I wanted it to. Now, I will say this about seasons. It is slow. It is very slow. So I'm going to constantly be skipping ahead off camera. That time we hit something. I'm going to constantly be skipping ahead off camera. I just have to because we'll be planting these fields. I'll be planting these fields for the next few hours. And you don't want to watch that. Do you? No, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Right, so let's pivot around here. Get out here. A little screenshot. Is this nice? Yeah, that's nice. Maybe. I don't know. I'll find a picture of something to take. Anyway, folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 17 from Coldborough Park Farm. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.